All right, welcome back. This is episode 4, 5, 6, I don't remember. But we're on basically the last example that we're going to do from the documentation. There is a chapter 6 on where to go next, and it talks about some of the other built-in components and areas of interest. But we're going to stop at RPCs because that's basically the basics that's going to get you going and setting up your project. Again, down below, if you want this series to continue, comment on what we should do. In my Fusion 1 series, the Fusion Bites, I think it was called, we kind of did we brought in an avatar. Was it a Ready Player Me avatar? Maybe we were just a robot. And then we put on a hat and we used RPCs for that. We're just going to use the RPCs example from here. But yeah, comment down below if we should continue this series and what type of game we should tackle. The only suggestion I've had so far would be like a board game. So I think that should be a relatively simple task, but we'll see where it goes from here. But I think my project just finished opening. And yes, it is before 6 a.m. in the morning. Let's get going. So when we left off, we can put our name, and we have network sync variables across the network. And those variables are our color and our player name. So what we're going to do now is we're going to learn how to send an RPC. So what's an RPC? This is probably something that was really easy for me to understand whenever I first learned Pun 2 because I was using Playmaker visual scripting, and Playmaker does something called sending events a lot and global events. And for Playmaker users, an RPC is essentially a global event sent over the network. For traditional C# programmers, consider an RPC calling a method over the network. Albeit it's a lot easier to see and grasp and understand with visual scripting. Go check out some of my Playmaker videos if you're curious about that. It's a little bit harder to track those things with C#. I love whenever I'm doing my big networking project, my big fusion project I'm doing now, it's a VR game, we're using Playmaker because it's just so much easier to keep track of what's happening with multiplayer with visual scripting. But we're going to go in and we're going to do some RPCs now. So we're going to add a health property to and if you notice, it kind of derails off of the current tutorial and just goes it doesn't even tell you to put it on. It's not like it even continues the tutorial anymore. It just starts talking about RPCs. But we'll go ahead and try to make this fit with the current tutorial we're working on. All right, so we're just going to create a networked float. And we talked about networked properties in the last episodes. This shouldn't be anything incredibly new. Let's go to our player info script. I'm going to double click here to open it up. All right, I have it open now. And I'm just going to put it up here at the top so I don't lose it. Oh, no, wait, it's creating a public class. We don't want that. We're just gonna take the network property. What was I doing? All right. There we go. So we're gonna have that networked property. And then we're gonna add an RPC and we're gonna talk about what this is even doing. So let's go ahead and come down here, and I'm just gonna put it before awake. Just so that I can see it up here at the top and don't lose it. And the documentation talks about what this is. So, and you can even hover over it and it'll explain it a little bit too. Assuming they've these little help text has been updated with Fusion 2 instead of Fusion 1. But every RPC, you can technically, oh my gosh, that's gonna be a little annoying. Every RPC, typically all you need for one is that, just before your method. Just have lowercase RPC in brackets like that. I feel like in Fusion 1 there was something else too, but maybe not. And by default, what does it say by default? By default, only the input authority, or state authority in our case, can call an RPC. So state authority of the class, the script, state authority of the game object the script is attached to. We're just going to paste that. In Fusion 1, I don't know if that was the case, because I don't think I've ever put in the RPC sources all, RPC targets. I think I always just used RPC, and I didn't have issues in Fusion 1, so I don't know if something changed, or if I did something I didn't realize, or I just got lucky. I don't know. All right, so this is just a public method, right? Dealing damage, and we're just inputting how much damage that we're dealing. And when we receive that, we're just going to take our networked health, and we're going to subtract the damage from it. So how would we call this? So we might need another class. So let's go ahead and take this. I'm going to create a new script called raycast attack. So create C# script raycast attack. All right, let's go ahead and open it up. And there it is. Select all, paste. All right, so this is a network behavior, and really the only reason it's a network behavior is because we're gonna call an RPC here pretty soon. I don't even think you have to be, if I'm right, might be remembering incorrectly, but I don't think you have to be on a network behavior to call an RPC. I could be wrong though. So we just have a float here for what the damage value is gonna be. We're referencing a player movement script. Why are we doing that? I guess the only reason we're doing that so that we can reference the camera down here. That's a little weird, but okay. But on update, only if we have state authority of this network behavior, we're going to, every update, cast a ray from the camera to where our mouse is. And the ray origin is going to be the transform forward of the camera. And then if we click mouse 1, we're going to debug draw array. All right, we're going to do some more here too. All right. And it even explains a little bit what here. It doesn't really explain it that much. All right, but now we're going to apply damage to the target. Okay, so we're going to copy this. Go back to our script. And still in update. If runner get physics scene raycast, and this is actually new to me because I don't ever use physics, so hopefully we can sort this out. If we hit the transform, it says we're going to try to get component health, but we're not using health because I thought that was weird. We're going to use player info because we want to keep this all on the same thing. And we're going to out the player info. So this is doing is we're going to, if we hit something, we're going to get the transform that we hit. We're going to try to get the component player info, right? Player info, which is on our player capsule, right? Player info. And then, where'd it go? Oh, raycast attack. Then we're going to call the deal damage RPC damage. And this may or may not be the case with Fusion 1, Fusion 2, because I didn't notice if it said anything. But, oh no, I guess it's different. In Fusion 1, this method would have had to have been called RPC underscore, like that. But I guess that's not required anymore. So there's another change from Fusion 1 to Fusion 2. And so what this is going to do is it's going to call that RPC, and it's going to send this amount of damage to player info. And then it should hopefully do damage. Now what we need, and this is kind of why they did a separate class for health, so this script wasn't so big probably, but I still kind of wanted to tie it into player info because the player's health is part of their player info, right? So we need to do a change detector, which we already have a change detector on player info. So we just need to add the case for networked health. So if we go down to our change detector, right here, so in update for each change in the change detector, we need to add another case. And the case is for the networked health. And we're just going to debug the log. The health changed to the new health. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's it. Yeah. So what we need to do now is we need to add the raycast attack. Actually, we got to add a lot of stuff. We're going to drag in the player movement script into that component. And that should be everything we need there, kind of. But we also need... Oh, we're hitting a character controller, so maybe we're fine. We might not need... I think our raycast will hit because there's a character. So that might be all right. Yeah, I think we'll be okay there. So to test this, I think we're going to have to now build and run. All right, that was good timing. As soon as I hit build, I heard my youngest child waking up and coming up the stairs. All right, I'm gonna make my player 0 over here. Editor Philip. And let's just get him moved out of the way a bit. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna hit Shift F, and we're gonna zoom out a little bit there. And then this is gonna be build Philip. Submit. All right, so we're just gonna come over here, and if we look at build Philip, and let's look at build Philip, we should be able to see in the console too. I'm gonna clear the console. Over here, we should be able to see the health. Go ahead and lock that. Hopefully we'll see the health change as we essentially attack build Philip. Oh. Look at that. I mean, it's technically working. I think I forgot to do something. Let's go ahead and close the build. I forgot to do something on click, right? Yeah, where did oh, raycast attack. If input get key down. Oh. We need to take this and put it inside our if. So this was just always running, this raycast. But we want to be inside our input. We want to actually be having our mouse click. So we're going to build and run again. I just realized, I don't know if I fully explained this tag the rest of the way. So anybody can send this RPC. The only person that can receive it is the person with state authority. I think I said that. But you can change this tag to, you can see all the different examples down there. You can let everybody receive it. So you can see you can put RPC sources all, RPC targets all. But anybody could receive that. But in this scenario, you wouldn't really want everyone to receive it because everyone's going to attempt to change the health, and you don't want that. But I've already built. So here we have build Philip again. There's no reason this shouldn't work now. And then let's do editor Philip. Always on top of each other because we don't have unique spawn points. So let's shift F on editor Philip, and we'll zoom out here. And then we're going to go like this. Nothing's happening. But if I click, I mean, I'm not seeing the debug line that it's supposed to be drawing. Do I not have gizmos on? That could be why. All right. And we're probably not seeing the line either because this might be over top of it, or the Z, because that's where it should be, right? My Z. I'm not, oh, because also where I'm looking, it's looking from the camera. It's not looking in the direct, I forgot that our player isn't looking where we're looking until we move. But let's see now, if I basically click on build Philip, it's not working. This is how smart I am with raycasts. I don't know what. Let's try build Philip at editor Philip. All right, I have mouse down. I'm looking all around. It might just be that it's not detecting our input, but again, I don't know. It was using the old input system, so I don't exactly remember how to read it. raycast attack. So we know that this bit will work if it's not inside the input get key down mouse 1. Do I have... I should still have the old input system enabled, don't I? Player... We're on gamma. Yeah, we're on both inputs. So I have no idea why that's not working. All right, so I paused for a bit to figure out something that would work. So here we are still in the raycast attack script, but notice there is no more update method. So because I'm a fan of the input system, we're switching to that for this script. So here we have my public input action reference. We used it for the network properties video last time. But if we come in here, we need to make sure that we put a reference to our fire input. And if I double click this, it'll open up the inputs we used. And here I have fire. I also went ahead and added the left mouse button because space is currently set there, which that's also our jump for something else, but it still worked for testing. So whatever you want, you can go in here. Also, when you install the input system, there's usually, and I showed this last time, I think, the default input actions, although I'm not seeing them this time. Search all. I swear, oh, they're there. The default input actions. We open this. It's got the traditional move, look, fire. And this is a great starting point. But I would duplicate them and make your own because I believe this is located in the packages. Yeah. So that becomes a little bit weird when you try to edit it. So I would like duplicate it and then put it somewhere in your assets folder. That's what I should have used before instead of using the samples one, but that's fine. All right, so let's show what we're doing. So I have the public reference, and then I have a private, the actual input action. So because we're on a network behavior, I wait until we've spawned. So public override spawned. So once I've spawned, I know that our network behavior is active. Then I see if we have state authority. If we have state authority, then I'm going to register these inputs because I don't want this network behavior to listen for these inputs if this isn't me. I don't want the other players that are running on my local machine to accept my inputs. That would be weird. So here I'm stating that this input action fire is just the action from this input action reference. And again, you don't have to put the input action reference. You could just do, I guess I could show it. We do public input action example. And if I save that and we go back to our prefab, go to our player. Oh, we're already on the player capsule. If we come down here to our tag, so see here, we have our example input. And we can basically create our own binding rather than use this whole binding system that gets shared across our whole project. We can create unique ones right here for just this class. So I can see some examples that could be useful, or I could think of some things that would be useful, but I pretty much almost always use input action references so that I can have this nice little inputs database that makes it real easy to make it cross-platform and all that jazz. All right, so all that being said, once we have that input actions allow you to subscribe to if they're performed, which is great for button presses, especially if you don't need to read a value from them. Or if you need to read a value from something, you're going to do it in some type of update. But if you just need to know that it happened, then you can do the input action .performed, and then you can subscribe to that and go ahead and call a method from it. When you call that method, it has to have this little property in it, the input action .callback context. And then everything we were doing previously from over here in update, we're now not doing an update, so that's nice. Now we're only doing it when the button is pressed. Otherwise, all the logic's the same. The other thing I changed was first I debug logged fire to make sure it was actually hearing my input because it didn't seem like it was before. Doing the raycast, I also changed this draw ray to 10. Oh, that's how long it lasts. I thought that was the length of... I'm like, why is it staying on the screen so long? But at least we'll see it now. I don't use that at all. And then we're going to use the physics scenes from the network runner that it just gets generated automatically for us. We didn't like create one. The network runner does that automatically if one's not detected. It's going to raycast and see if it hits anything, and it does. It works. So I'll show you. I've already built and run, but I'm just going to hit build and run again because I don't remember where I saved it, and this should just take a moment. It'll be instant because I'm going to pause. Yeah, that took like 5 seconds. All right. Here we go. We have build Philip. Over here we have editor Philip. Bumping up against each other. So now if we go to editor Philip, Shift F, zoom out, we should be following editor Philip around. We can clear our console. We can come over here. Right? Which one's editor Philip? Okay, there we go. All right. So now I'm looking at build Philip. Now if I don't look at him and I just click, I'm firing, and you can see right here, there's my debug line. All right, so I'm missing him. I'm shooting everywhere but build Philip. But if I look at build Philip and click, boom, we've hit him that time. Health changed to 90. Right, boom, health changed to 80. If we come over here to build Philip and we find editor Philip, oh, it's gonna be hard to click because my window's so small. And then we just go, boom. You can see they received the RPC deal damage and our health changed to 90. So there we go. RPCs work. So if this series has been helpful for you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you want to chat in real time, check out the Discord link in the description. Yeah. I hope this series has been helpful to you. Don't forget to comment down below what we should do next with this. This is Fusion 2. It's multiplayer. The world is our oyster. Oh, I can't forget my lovely Patreons. Thank you for supporting the channel. And we will see you all next time.